And by Monday, we will know if the Detroit Lions are in the playoffs.
Isn't it you that always tells me don't break it down? But you know, you're talking about the Detroit Lions, so go ahead, stick. We will. No longer is it the 8th team in, so Seattle does have to lose. But you know what? I love the energy that I'm hearing from Detroit fans. Like, the big thing that I'm hearing, like, in the past, they'll be like, what if Seattle and what if this and what about this? And are they going to beat Green Bay? All I'm hearing from Detroit fans is, look, you know what? We're going to beat Green Bay, but if we don't get in because Seattle wins, that's fine. I love that energy. I love that, because this wouldn't have been the energy from Detroit fan base earlier this year, the year before that, the year before that. It seems as though the players and the fans are now on the same page, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's all in, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about this earlier in the week, the way Dan Campbell has phrased this week. It's not just a ho-hum, hey, you know what we got to do, it's business as usual. No, this is a playoff game for us.
Yeah.
This is important for us. And actually, here's Dan Campbell telling you it's a playoff game.
Intensity of this game.
Well, there's Dan Campbell going to tell you it's a playoff game.
He was thinking about it.
And that's exactly what it is. It's a playoff game for these guys. And even if it's not a playoff game, even if Seattle wins, right?
Yeah.
It's a playoff game.
It is.
They got it. This is a chance to learn how to win a big pressure game.
100%. I mean, you look at what they've done. If they go out there and if they beat Green Bay, they would have gone 8-2 in the last 10 games of the season. Am I not correct?
Yep.
It's 8-2 in the last 8-2. Starting 10 games ago, it was a playoff chase. Now, nobody thought it was possible, but it was a playoff chase in terms of what you had to do to potentially right this ship. Now, after they won about 4 games, it's like, well, this thing might have a chance to go somewhere. Then you start playing those playoff-type games. Going up to New York, people don't dismiss that game. Playing the New York Jets, that was a playoff atmosphere game. I was there. They got the win. It was ugly at certain times, but guess what?
You got to win ugly.
It's a playoff game. You look at last week against Chicago. So now you get to Green Bay. Green Bay, all the marbles on the line. Aaron Rodgers, if they win, they're in. Detroit, if they win, they might be independent on that. But guess what? You want to knock your rivals out of the playoffs. You want to win a game on the road in December or January, and you also want to prove that this is something that you can do consistently, is go on the road and win these games. I think that's what the Lions have done, with the exception, played great, not with the exception, as well as played great at the end of the season at times. They've won on the road, and they've won in moments where people say, uh-oh, here comes that same old Lions deal. Here's where they lose on the road, and guess what? It's B&L, maybe it's not happening.
You stole the words right out of my mouth. Like, for the past 5-6 games, they've had opportunities, and every single one is, all right, they get to chip away at the same old Lions thing. Going on the road against the Jets, chipping away, that's the same old Lions thing. The same old Lions kind of showed up against Carolina when you let Sam Darnold beat you. But outside of that,
even the first quarter last week with Justin Fields in Chicago is like, here it comes. But
outside of that, they've been chipping away at it, right? Just chipping away. And I think if they do this, if they go on the road, finish the season 9-8, we could put the SOL to bed for good. If they go there and get their doors blown off, guess what we're going to be talking about next year? So to me, in that locker room, they got to be looking at each other and say, this is when we bury everything that could possibly be buried negative about this franchise.
100%, Maz. You tell me if I'm wrong about this one. I got a big feeling if the Lions, they go here, I'm going to throw it out there. When the Lions go to Lambeau, they take care of business. They beat Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. I don't think you'll get people talking about what could have been this season. I don't think you'll get people that'll be talking about the Minnesota game, the first game, the Seattle saying. I think people will say, you know what? They played the way they're supposed to in the end. This is the brand new Lions, and I can't wait till next year, right or wrong.
I agree with you in some part, but there's always the part of me, and we're always going to look back and say, I wish we could have done better in those games. And I don't think SOL is buried until you win a playoff game.
So that's when you're burying it?
That's when I'm burying it. Right now, they're looking great. This is the new Lions. I'm all in. I want them to win. I don't even care if they're SOL. I'm still rooting for them to win. I love this team. I always did. But they have to win a playoff game to get rid of that moniker. And they're on their way.
And this is from the outside looking in. You guys have been diehard Lions fans. I've been here my whole life, but I haven't been a Lions fan. From the outside looking in, I approach it this way. You look at Lions in certain moments, and you just know they're going to Lion. The Lions are going to Lions. I mean, you look at it. When you start 1-6, and then you finish the way in which they do, Maz, it's even deeper than that because I'm also looking at Dan Campbell as a coach, how he's gotten better. I'm looking at how the team plays around him. I'm looking at how the players have gotten better. I'm looking at the player development. I'm looking at how the coaches have gotten better. The coaches have rallied. I just see something that I've never seen with the Detroit Lions. I've played against the Lions for 9 years. I've watched the Lions for 39 years. I've never seen something like I'm seeing now. So I will go out on a limb. They win this week. The same old Lions are dead.
I hope you're right.
Outside looking in, that's how I feel.
I'm with you. I'm with you because to me, this is you're facing the final boss, right? Like you've worked your way through the levels. That's what Aaron Rodgers.
It's in Bison.
It's exactly it. It's Mike Tyson at the end of Punch Out. Like you're finally here, and the guy you got to get over the top, the team you got to get over the top, the location you got to get over the top. Like it's all lined up for you to where if you win this game, it means more than even if Green Bay was here or any other team. This is the game. This is the team you want to shake off that moniker.
And 32 years ago yesterday was the playoff win. 32 years ago yesterday. They beat Dallas. They beat them. They pulverized them. But what happened after that?
The Redskins came.
The Redskins came. The Lions fell off, and the Cowboys were born. So, just win, get in, and win a playoff game. That's it.
When I'm referring to the historically old Washington franchise, can I still say Redskins?
Yeah, why not? Their history.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to learn the decorum with this.
That's a great question, to be politically correct.
Yeah.
You're like, so do I have to always say Commanders, or is it, if I'm talking about 1992, is it the Redskins? I am going to err on the side of caution and just say Commanders, but I don't think you have to say Commanders if you're talking about Mark Rippon. I think if you're talking about Joe Theismann, you're talking about Doug Williams, I think it's okay to say
you're talking about Joe Gibbs.
Exactly.
The Redskins.
Because he never coached the Commanders, to my knowledge.
We live in a bizarre world. I don't know what to call their old team.
It's the world you got.
That's what they were, but that's not what they are.
Washington if you're more comfortable.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with any of them. It's everybody else you got to worry about.
Yeah.
This is true.
But to me, the Lions have the opportunity of a lifetime. The biggest opportunity in franchise history outside of a playoff game.
And what I like about it too is both teams are hot. The Lions are 6-2.
Yes.
But the Green Bay Packers are 5-2. Both teams are high. Aaron Rodgers is heated up. Aaron Rodgers has looked like himself at moments in this 7-game stretch.
But the Lions have beaten better teams though along this stretch, right?
No.
That's the one. That's the only difference. Because I agree, the Packers are hot, but they've gotten hot against dog teams.
I'm saying what I meant by that is they're both hot. So with the Lions beat the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay, in Lambeau, when they do that, it's not like, it wasn't the same Green Bay. Like, Green Bay's won 5-2, Lions won 6-2. Right. They're both hot. They're both trying to get into the playoffs. They beat them with everything on the line. That's not a same Green Bay Packers team that we saw earlier in the year.
Packers are peaking.
Exactly.
They are peaking. They're running the ball like they could, and they're starting to defend like you thought they would. Aaron Rodgers is just a cherry on the top.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
Be tough to beat at Lambeau.
His run-in touchdown kind of was like vintage Aaron Rodgers. Like, that's when I said, oh, shoot. Like, that was a play. Like, when he did a little fake and got in. Like, I haven't seen Aaron Rodgers make a fake and beat a safety in about 5 years.
Hey,
so
all they're missing is Devontae Adams.
Man.
From being the same as they were. True.
Well, Christian Watson's come on, and so is Romeo Dobbs, and that's really
his boy,
that's mine too. I drafted him in Dynasty League in the 5th round.
Yeah.
Put them both together, and they ain't Devontae Adams.
But that's the thing. That's when the Packers really started to take off, is when they started to find their wide receiver core, and even Randall Cobb. We'd say what you want about the ghost of Randall Cobb. Aaron Rodgers trusts him.
Yeah, as he should.
Yeah.
Like, as you should. Randall Cobb is one of those guys that's been in a league for a while. He's made 2 Pro Bowls. Like, he's been with Aaron Rodgers. He's won a Super Bowl. He knows how to get open. Like, as you get older, you start knowing how to get open. Like, You're not as fast as you used to be. You're not necessarily as athletic, but you know what happens? You're smarter. You know that this league is a little younger than you. You know the little nuances of how to get open. He's doing an amazing job of getting to that spot where Aaron knows he's going to be.
And Tunyon's starting to come on. Robert Tunyon, tight end.
Yeah, Tunyon to me has been a disappointment.
He is, but he's starting to pick up.
Like 2 years ago. No, I'm just talking in what he's become.
Okay.
Like 2 years ago, I thought he was going to be like the next George Kittle at least. Injuries, but still, go out there and play ball, man. Like, I don't know. Tonyan just hasn't been the guy that I thought he was going to be, and I'm okay with that since it's a Packer.
Yeah.
But really, I expected him to be an elite tight end, especially when the wide receivers weren't pulling their weight.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's an interesting situation up there in Green Bay. They've gone through a lot in the last 3 years, whether it was Aaron Rodgers, whether it was front office, whether it was players leaving, players get injured. But it somehow or another, they always find their way in this particular situation, which is on the cusp of making the playoffs yet again.